So a little behind the scenes on this. We've been talking for a couple of weeks about doing something like this. We've tossed a bunch of ideas around, and I think there was a little lull in between because as news cycles tend to go, we tend to go with the news cycles. And yesterday, J. Cole dropped a new track, Port Antonio. Port Antonio, brand new J. Cole track. J. Cole has been on a hot streak, in my opinion. His verse with T Grizzly is fire. His verse with Daylight, Play the Collard Greens, is fire. I'm pretty sure he's going to be on the Leakers pretty soon. It feels like a Leakers appearance is around the corner. I don't have any facts on that, but I just feel like might have been scheduled, should be scheduled, or somewhere where he freestyles, because there have been discussions about whether or not, J. Cole's feature run is something. I don't even think there's a debate. His feature run is always crazy, and his freestyles are always crazy. So we got a new J. Cole track, and let's just go around the horn and see what everyone thinks about it. Let's start with you, Rob. Let's see what you think about the J. Cole track. I saw you.
I just want to be honest about his feature run right now too. I'm crazy, like crazy. But
Second
that
to
grippy
Wayne.
verse wasn't it. But that grippy verse with Cash Cole, like that still happened, and
That's
I
what I was
wish
gonna
we could
say.
take that back. You know what I'm saying? I won't fault the man for at his lowest, but that grippy thing did happen, and I think we were all scratching our heads, man. Shout out to Cole and Cash Cobain.
I completely forgot about that. I voted that one off the island.
I blacked it out.
That was non-canon.
Non-canon, right?
Right.
But Port Antonio, first of all, was necessary. I think I'm at a point, and I don't know about y'all. Like, I'm ready to move on. Like, there's a winner of this battle. We seen it. I think when we get to Grammys and Super Bowl weekend, it'll probably be the victory lap. And then, man, I'm ready to move on. I'm ready to get back. I'm ready for the fall off. I'm ready for Kendrick to drop something. Drake eventually got to find his way and get back to whatever it is he does great, because there's a lot of bouncing back and forth. I'm not quite sure they figured it out. It's still fresh, but I think this record was needed. Like Cole, like we just needed to hear from Cole. I know he spoke on the Dreamville stage, but as a record, you knew it was coming, because Cole don't do interviews. Cole don't tweet or go on social media. The only way we was going to hear about what Cole was feeling for real was through a song, and we got it, and I'm glad we got it. And I'm not mad at him. I know a lot of people are mad at him for bowing out. I'm cool, man. Live your truth, man. If you want to sleep at night, if that wasn't gonna help you sleep at night, man, then go ahead and sleep at night. And get back to the program. We got a good enough battle as it was. It was the best hip hop battle of all time. I think it's gonna go down in history. And Cole said, "Nah, I wasn't for it. Cool, drop this piece, and let's go, man. What's next?"
Yeah, I'm kind of shocked at the division on the track. But it hit me. Somebody left a comment, because I went live early and I just dropped a video about it. And somebody in the comment section said basically the FD is shocked at the response because he doesn't really like or follow J. Cole too tough. And so I'll be interested to hear if anybody has a more negative response, more from that. But for me, this is like this is not like, I'm not a huge J. Cole fan, but this is easily probably a top 5 track for me from him. And I really loved the theme of the second verse pretty much all the way through. And I was a big proponent. I was one of the few people that was like, him bowing out the way he did was really dope, actually. And the way he came back at it here to me was to me like it was just valid and like really raw. And like J. Cole can be very cringe, be very like fake deep or like barbershop deep. I like to say it, you know what I'm saying? But like that's also one of his best features because he's earnest to a fault. He's genuinely, I think, the realest rapper in the game at his level, in that we really know what J. Cole is on through his music. And so if you rock with that, then you probably really rocked with this track. But if you are off J. Cole for a multitude of legitimate reasons, many of which I'm also in agreement with, then you probably got this track and was like, what's conceited face? You know what I'm saying? Oh,
that
respect
conceited
that as
face.
well.
I saw a lot of conceited faces
Ooh,
trending
yeah,
around this
yeah.
song. A lot of this song around this
I was
song.
one of them. I was one of them for sure.
What you think, Curtis?
Man, I'm confused. Yes, I said that right with a TH. I am confused. I applaud the maturity that we're seeing in this era of hip hop. I applaud J. Cole going on that stage. I can imagine how difficult that was at the height of, we remember that time, at the height of that, to go on a stage where people are looking, they foaming at the mouth about what's coming up next. For him to make that step, I thought was huge. But I feel like I felt like he's what Kendrick say? He said
I remember you was conflicted.
I feel like
Oh, your soundboard is good.
His soundboard working. His
Somebody
soundboard
had to
is
tell the
working.
truth.
good to know, because now I got an applause button I can use for if you need me to. I'll be your applause man tonight. So here's my thing. We're getting mixed messages, because I think on one end we're getting the peace, which who can deny that? Who can fight with that, right? The peace is something we're all searching for. But I think there's sort of this back and forth, and maybe that's part of his honesty that we're looking at, in that he's saying, I'm at peace, but I still got that thing on me. Like lyrically, I take all your heads off. Like I'm still one of the best. But my argument is, on the biggest stage where you had the opportunity to do that, I don't think anybody ever had any debate of whether Kendrick versus J. Cole would have been a different type of battle than Kendrick versus Drake. I think that got personal for other reasons. I'm pretty sure we'll get into those, but lines got stepped over, I think, by Drake first. That made it about Whitney, that made it about the family, and made it about things that weren't necessarily about things that are foundationally hip hop. I think with Cole and Kendrick, they have such a respect for the craft. I could not see them going over boundaries. So when I see him lay out the verse the way that he does, I just scratch my head, because I'm like, it sounds like everything he's describing is the pitfalls of going in a battle versus Drake. So my thing is, either you're comfortable and at peace with not having to be the best or be a part of the top three, or you truly believe that you are the best and nobody can mess with you. Okay, well then stand on that. And when I listen to this song, it feels like you playing both sides of it because it's convenient. And then at the end of the day, it's like, one last thing I'll say is that he had an argument about the reactors and the people on YouTube who are, they got blood in their eyes and all they want is violence. But I'm also having an issue with, I'm an artist as well. And I see you using the same medium for marketing, because the same reactors are going to react to this song. Here we are talking about it right now as folks who are in this media space. And I'm like, you're utilizing the same platforms that you're criticizing to help get the message across. So I think there's a lot of things that just have me kind of like scratching my head. I just did a video about it right now. And I don't know, man. I think lyrically it's superb. It's amazing all the way around. I have no debates about that. But it sounds like somebody who wrote a journal entry that shouldn't have went public.
Curtis, two things. I think you make amazing points, right? And I know everybody else got to chime in, but two things, and we could put a pin in it and go, but just two things to ponder.
Sure.
If Cole engages with Kendrick at the same time that this Kendrick and Drake thing is going on, does it become parsley a little bit? The same way we were telling Drake, bro, we don't want to hear you rap about Rick Ross. Leave Metro alone. Like, the clear and present danger is Kendrick. I think that Kendrick and Drake thing got so serious. I think it takes all the air out the room. And at that point, with so much venom, do we really want to hear, or is it the right temperature for a friendly rap back and forth, similar to the way that Wale and Cole did on False Prophets and Groundhog's Day? You know what I'm saying? So that's A. And then on the B side, I totally forgot my point at the B side, but that's the A side, and we can leave it there.
Well, I can keep it brief. I keep it brief because, and that's a great question, because I want to make sure everybody else has the opportunity. But that's a great question to ask. I think that the climate changed when family got involved. I think when Whitney's name got brought up the way it did by Drake, it was the same tactic that he's resorted to before. When he's in battle with other men, he finds the women that are vulnerable, have vulnerable stories that he can attack. And I think that's what he got violated. He had said that. I remember I'm sorry, brain fart. Jeremy, on your guys' platform,
The bigger picture, yeah.
that once bigger picture, my brain was saying a million things right now. I'm glad that you corrected me. But the moment he made it about Whitney, he set up an opportunity for him to get violated. And that's exactly what we saw. I just don't see Cole, who's having this respect that he has for Kendrick. He's still talking about his respect even after the apology. I just don't see him going that angle with it. So I think the nature of that changed. When I listen, and I don't have any input, no matter who I've worked with, I have no input, no insider information. But when I look at the Kendrick and Drake thing, it feels much bigger than rap. Because I think the talking points that we can talk about in terms of debating skill, everybody knows what Drake is skilled. Everybody knows what Kendrick is skilled at, and we know where they stand on those things. I think this was a much different type of battle. So I think with Cole, it could have very well been that. And then, you know, we come together for the yearly TDE event, you know what I'm saying? And we do a song together, or it could have been Cole it wouldn't have been this. It wouldn't have been a pop out. If it was a pop out, it'd been Cole involved in the pop out. So I think this is very much different, especially when you start talking about terms like colonizer and things getting flipped around in there. There's a lot of things that make it a little bit more spicy.
I want thing in response to what Curtis said, and I'm gonna kick it to either Jeremy or Professor Sky. I do not believe that the elevation was the turning point. I think Kendrick planned to violate this man as years ago. I just refuse to believe that this was like, oh, you did, like, no, this wasn't like what you say about my mama. This is, I can't wait till he say something about mama, because I got so much heat for this. It's like, are we cursing? What are we doing?
If that's the case, then Drake fell for the trap.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
But
sure.
Go ahead, Jeremy.
Well, what I was going to say is, because we did have that argument, I think it was episode 1 of The Bigger Picture, where Elliot asked, could this have been a friendly fade, quote unquote? Could this have been just about rap? And my theory, and, you know, Head kind of confirmed on Kendrick's side that this was the case, was that if they just kept it about rap and no names were mentioned, like you said, Whitney was never brought in push-ups, maybe it's a friendly fade. Likely it's a friendly fade. But to your point, FD, he preyed on character. He knew exactly who Drake was and exactly where he would go. And to that point, he was prepared. So he had Meet the Grams ready 10 minutes after, because
he wasn't
like,
just prepared. He was licking his lips. Like, that was a fly. What is it? Fly?
Yeah.
Shout out to RDC.
Birdman.
Shout out to RDC World. This is so that comedy video they put together of Kendrick that night is so it's too much truth.
Right.
No, he was ready. But I did want to comment quickly on what Curtis said about or maybe Justin, you brought it up about the Wale Cole situation. Or maybe it's right. I actually don't even know who just said that, because so many good points have been made. But whoever brought that up. So I felt like what Cole was doing with Drake here was very similar to what Cole did with Wale in that scenario. It was weird because him and Drake have had this relationship where Cole's mentioned Drake's name more than any other rapper or any other person in all of his career. He's mentioned Drake on Middle Child. He mentioned Drake on Cole Summer. He mentioned Drake in like 4 other songs. And this is another Drake name drop, but it seemed like he was talking to him almost like still his big bro. He still views Drake as the more successful older brother, even though they're around the same age. And he's saying, yo, just get back to the magic. Just get back to like writing your thoughts down and being so far gone again, bro. You can do it. And this maybe is a transition to another topic, but it's interesting because I'm curious as to how Kendrick responds to that and how Drake responds to that. I don't know that Drake takes that super positively. Yes, he liked the Instagram, but maybe Drake does see that more as a like, I don't know that. Don't talk to me like that. You know, like you got in the middle of this. You did all these features with other people. You knew ASAP was that, like, so there's that thing. But then the other thing I did want to respond to about the piece, about him being at peace, I thought it was really interesting because I'm in between two. I think there's a little bit of hypocrisy, but the bar that stood out to me is when he said, I learned long ago you can't please them all, and it hurts trying. And I think that on the press run he did for Forest Hills Drive, he had an Angie Martinez interview, and he said, I tried doing everything for the accolades, for the fame, for the medals, for the trophy. And that whole album was breaking down. There's no throne. There's no crown. We all just want to be loved as poets and appreciate the moment that you're in. So it's interesting to hear him say that, because maybe he does feel at peace with, that part of his career and not maybe having a throne, but it seems like at the same time he does still want to be viewed as the top lyrical guy. And this is where the divide comes in publicly. Can he be viewed as the top lyrical guy while bowing out of the battle? Some people say no, some people say yes, but is Cole going to ever come to peace with the fact that that division is always going to exist?
Well, before we get to that point, one, I think it's so weird how all these conversations continue to happen as if 7-minute drill doesn't exist. But two, let's get Professor Scott. Let's get Professor Scott.
It's like the Grippy verse. Might delete later.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a big one. I don't know if you could delete that one. That one would have hit harder if it never hit the internet. What you got, Professor Scott?
All right. Well, so like, I just can't get out of the mindset of like this being a sports roundtable. So I'm just going to throw out a couple ideas that are a lot less deep. One, is this the best Michael Jackson reference in hip hop history? I cannot think of a better one. You tell me the better one.
Is this a Michael Jackson reference? What did I miss?
Yeah, wearing the red jacket, and he makes reference to Beat It, and then he says bring in the heavy metal because, you know, Eddie Van Halen played heavy metal guitar on that song. That's when Michael Jackson brought in heavy metal, and you got the red leather jacket and you got the two gangs, and he actually places himself as Michael Jackson in between the two like dance crews, like getting ready to stab each other.
How you catch that and break that down in 12 hours? Scott,
I
missed all of that.
Scott be out here freestyling 40-minute, hour-long synergies on Lupe Fiasco.
You know how long my scripts be? How long I'll be writing? Scott's like, yeah, all of that already.
Right.
And then to Curtis's point, so like I think one of the things we need to really answer, and we can do this like a sports thing, you know, like up is good and down is corny. Mano a mano, I'm Bono, and you. What's the line? Like you two.
Yeah.
Like
I like that line.
You have to be two of you to be me. All right. To Curtis's point, you can't say
thumbs up
mano a mano in a song where you're saying not the face. Like you can't do that. You can't say mano a mano and then say there's no king. I'm not the king. Someone else. So that's I don't know. Like that. I think that's a real question. Like whether you think that's a good line or that's super corny. And then he's saying mano a mano, and that means fight, and then he's not fighting. So those are my points.
Scott, first of all, I think he had a better Michael Jackson ball on collard greens with Daylight.
Okay.
Like that was crazy when he said, I pulled it up. Deep down, I hated Halloween with all that I seen. Who needs another way to scream? Michael, Janet. Right. Dangerous is the king of pop. How well they spin your block. Beat It video. He does the spin on the block that lights up. Yep. No moves, minimal, smooth criminals. The whole gang doing the same amounts of lean, and then the smooth criminal video where they lean to the side. Yeah, like I'm sick of Michael Jackson. I'm not gonna lie. Like every time I feel like I've done heard every Michael Jackson bar there is, you know,
somebody flips it good.
They flipped it. I'm like, all right, I give you that. You know
I want to piggyback off what Rob is going at to respond to, I think something I think Curtis and Jeremy said. I want to get two things out. The first is the idea, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong here. The idea that you prove you're the best through a battle, like a rapper battle, not like if you're not a battle rapper, right? If you're a battle rapper, then you prove on that stage your rounds versus the person in front of you rounds. I'm with you there. But that GOAT status, best lyricist, et cetera, status, that don't come through the beef part because that's so rare. That's such a rare thing. And I am not a Cole, like, again, I know this sounds ridiculous because I'm the number one glazer on the pod right now. But like I like one Cole album.
Well, Rob's over there with you. Rob's over there with you.
Thank you. I like For Your Eyes Only. That's the only Cole album I still return to. Like the rest of them, I didn't even know some of his old albums existed because they were so bland and like dead in the back of my head. But to me, if I'm ranking Cole, Kendrick, and Drake in terms of pure lyricism, not songwriting, not hits, but pure lyrical ability, pen, I'm putting Cole number one. And I'm doing that before this beef. We'll go there. We'll go there. We still let's get that musty dorm room energy going.
There we go.
That's what I'm ready for.
We finally hit prime time.
One, because of what I've heard, because of these bars y'all are putting out there, because of the multiple flows.
Well, you didn't listen. You just admitted that you didn't listen to his earlier catalog because you thought it was boring, and now you got.
Well, the early catalog was so lyrical, miracle. Look, I can rap, y'all.
How many albums is that? For Your Eyes Only.
Everything Forest
the
Hills
therapy
Drive.
album.
For Your Eyes Only might be as I don't know. I don't like that album.
That's only like
Nobody
3
likes that.
albums.
I love
you're,
Cole.
you're basically basing it off 3 albums and a mixtape that he deleted.
I'm based,
the
so I'm
biggest song
starting
off
from
of.
I'm starting from For Your Eyes Only to every
Big.
feature in the last couple of
You
years.
missed
Okay.
a lot.
So I missed a lot,
You missed a lot.
but I've heard everything.
And yet
from
he's
Kendrick.
still number 1.
He's in terms of like, who do I, in terms of like, if there's a verse, but you know, I forgot about him and Kendrick doing their little collaboration thing, and Kendrick murdered him something awful there. So I don't know if that holds up the scrutiny. So let me move to my second point real quick.
Another
Abandon the boy.
I might have to abandon ship on that.
Oh, no,
I might delete that later. Delete that from the podcast.
slow down. That's a Michael Jackson reference. That was a moonwalk out of that.
Jeremy says something that I want to piggyback on from. I just finished talking to my homie Color Mind. Shout out to Color Mind. This is his take that I wanted to share here. There's a kindred spirit. I think Cole shares with Drake, as they're both biracial, like lower middle class, people that wasn't really supposed to make it in the game at the time. And like they both like that Best Buy video is the most wholesome shit like in like hip hop history. These two, like, we really out here trying to make it, and it ain't like Rich and Poe trying to make it. You know what I'm saying? It ain't Murder Inc. trying to make it. It ain't Death Row Records trying to make it. This is like, I can't believe we're here. Like Carlton Dance, like we in here. We in here for real, joyful stuff. And so this song from the sample from Cleo, I think her name is Cleo Soul, Know You Are Loved. You know what I mean? Those last like 4 bars where he's just talking to Drake, like, pick your head up, King, it's gonna be okay. I think that's a big part of this that we're not enough people are talking about. That was very much him trying to lift up his bro, this biracial bro in hip hop, and tell him to get back on the bike, get back on the horse, and get back to the booth.
I've run into the whether or not this song was necessary at all 5 months after this battle. I feel like regardless of maybe what the intentions were going into it, regardless of, whether it's a pick your head up bro thing, or whether it's more weird veil, throw rock, hide your hand kind of stuff that we get from Cole, who pretends to be above it all the time. I feel like it's brought in a different kind of conversation that I don't think is really necessary. Like, do you, Cole, for all of his gifts, for example, like what you said, FD, arguably the best lyricist, debatably of these 3. He's amazing with words. He's amazing with framing things. And yet somehow there is still such a huge division around this track. To me, that is not necessary at all from someone who is so critical, so pivotal at the foundation of this conflict.
He needed to drop it. There was no way that he can get on with, again, like the fall off is a thing of lore at this point, right? And he's banking a lot on that project, right? There's no way he can move on to the next thing without addressing it. So it's either I'm gonna address it on my album when my album drops, and as I understand it, the fall off is basically like damn near complete even before all this battle happened. Like, he may make changes to it, but it's pretty much complete. So he's gonna have to address this one way or another, again, because he doesn't talk to us in interviews, on social media. There was no way that this was gonna go unaddressed, and his speech on the Dreamville stage just wasn't enough. So I think whether or not we needed this track, I think he needed this track to get on with whatever the hell his mission is after this.
Do you think with the reaction that this track has garnered that he'll be able to do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think he will.
Like,
It's a real
we're
question.
still talking about the guy.
I'm not trying to be. I feel like this is going to bring more light to this thing, personally.
I think he doesn't care, though. Or at least that's what he's trying to get us to believe off the track.
It's weird. I think he cares, but I think to Rob's point, I think he needed this in order to fully move on to the next phase. Like, if he's not going to do an interview, he needs to talk about it somewhat. Otherwise, it's this weird looming elephant in the room, and it's going to hit the same way that that Might Delete Later did, where you hear all these bars about being number 1 and being the best and being a lyrical like assassin, and then in the back of your mind, you're like, it's like, if a girl like cheats on you, right, and then like she wants you back. and you're going with her, and all you can think about
Mhm.
is what just happened. You're like, I don't know that I can be with you again. And she never brings it up. It's like until you really squash that issue and you have a full-on therapy session about it, or however, most of you guys might say like never again, right? So until Cole addressed that elephant in the room, he's not able to move on. And to me, like this track was necessary for him, and it was right in rollout mode. Every time he drops a project, he has a freestyle. He had Cole Summer, he had The Cure, right? He drops a freestyle where he addresses his mindset going into the project. This was him saying, let me drop the fall off. Now, my question is to you guys. In the fall off, if he's bragging, if he's talking about being number one, does that hit different as an album? Do we need it to be conceptual? Do we want to just hear J. Cole's life? Like
he's bragging on this song and it hits funny.
I agree.
In the same damn. Okay, can I throw a wrinkle in here? And I want to answer your question as well. Can I throw one wrinkle in this? I was watching a video last week. Shout out to another great channel, Chilling with Moni. And she was covering what seemed to be this weird momentum switch in some other media outlets where they're trying to pin J. Cole versus Drake. And she's documenting these like it seemed like it was almost like a group text that launched it out there. Everybody's coming for him. I question now the timing of this, not necessarily because it's the beginning of the rollout for the fall off, but could that be, let me put this fire out while this is me speculating. I have no idea what's going on.
Yes, the answer is yes.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? While there's a possible weird energy with him
Brewing.
and Drake after the apology. Who knows what that was afterwards? If it was ever like it was before, kind of how Jeremy was alluding to with the relationship. So when I look at this, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, if this is J. Cole talking to little big bro and Drake, and it's like, hey man, I just want to let you know, like this is where I was coming from, and this is what was going. Once again, I can't help but feel like this should have been an offline conversation, because now when you start to doing that, and then a few bars later, you talking about a text somebody sent you. By the way, can we say this too? Can I say this? J. Cole has a thing of mentioning when people contact him during conflict. If you remember, I forget what the name of the song was, but after the Control verse dropped, he did this dismissive thing where he was like, I got a text in and somebody was telling me that Kendrick
It was ASAP Rocky, Justin Timberlake, and him, the TKO remix.
What a weird remix to do that on. But I digress. Now we're here again, and he has his homegirl who sends him a text about, don't, just because,
You're the gun.
You're the gun, yeah. What if I'm the see? This is how I interpret the song. This is why it's problematic to me. I'm at peace, guys. I'm at peace. Bang, 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 bang. Hey, it's too loud in here. You guys are bloodthirsty. We should chill out. Bang, 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 bang,
Curtis,
bang,
I gotta
bang.
disagree with you here.
That's cool, but let me land this real quick. I'm just land this. I feel like when you talk a certain way, when there's a certain bravado in your raps, when you say certain things like, I wish one of y'all would come for me. Well, here was your opportunity, and then you did nothing about it except for a half-hearted 7-minute drill. Then you backed out and apologized, and then you come back, and the first thing you say after the apology is, I stand by my apology. I'm still about peace. But by the way, don't forget, like I'm metaphorically, but I don't care about that. And I kind of care about that. The indecisiveness is what gets me, but I'm sorry.
I'll say this, Curtis, real quick. I mean, that's to Kendrick and Drake. Again, when we're talking about 3, like that's rarefied air. That's top of the food chain.
Sure.
Let one of you other motherfuckers try to mention my name and see what the fuck Cole would do. Like that. I'm talking to Drake and I'm talking to Kendrick. The rest of you motherfuckers don't get cute. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
And I hope that's his energy. Because I would hate to see like. I'm just
1 second applause.
I'm gonna throw a random name. Who I don't know, like
Playboy Cardi.
That's weird. It's Kid Cudi, man. Chill out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know.
Praise for Kid Cudi. How do you guys feel about this if you're Kendrick Lamar listening to the song?
Laughing. Sitting back and laughing, loving all of it. Feet up,
I think he's
laughing.
taking shots at him.
Yeah.
Do you think he's taking shots at Kendrick?
I think, well, okay, so like I have like a theory I've been kind of working on where like the first verse is him doing what he thinks Drake should have done, which is like, this is my life. It's difficult being in multiple cultures and I've never quite felt at home. And here I am. And then like the second verse is like the Kendrick, I am not a savior, and this is hip hop, and this is the soul. So I kind of read the whole thing as like a sort of secret actual attack on each of them by trying to do his version of what he thinks they should do. And then just beyond that, like saying chasing clicks, I know he's not necessarily saying that Kendrick is chasing clicks, but the first time I heard it, I thought, oh, is he saying that Kendrick is chasing clicks? And maybe he's not, but I don't know. I mean,
So
yeah,
That was a real discussion
yeah.
that was taking place online as well.
Let me provide, like, so this is my perspective, and also to challenge some of Curtis's take a little bit. When I heard the chasing clicks, I'm thinking about us.
Yeah, I was too.
Sure.
Like, who raise your hand if you're number one, if you got more views in the last 3 months off your hip hop joints based off this beat.
That was my video this morning. Like you're absolutely right. That was totally towards the media.
Yeah.
Look, and my channel, I started my channel around that time. So I went from 0 to monetization to $5,000 in a month and a half. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And like, and whatever, $5,000. Like, academics did a fucking video yesterday that I saw online. Said, I just bought a Maybach. Thanks, Kendrick. Thanks, Drake.
Yeah.
I just bought a Maybach off the YouTube this month.
Right.
Cole is absolutely talking to the media, talking to some of us. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry to jump right back in, because but not just to us. The other part that he says, I don't remember who alluded to it. When he's talking about the gun bar, he ends that with, a gun is not what I'm trying to be. And like, to me, that the thesis of that part of the verse is really him turning the temperature down on shit. And I want to bring it to something I think we can relate to. When what's the boy's name? I'm not trying to throw no shade at him tonight. What's this motherfucker's name? White boy from Canada.
Not me.
not Jeremy.
not Jeremy.
The Dirt guy?
What's the Dirt? When What's the Dirt did what he did, and all of us organically, I had never talked to any of y'all, organically just came forth, really just on some like get on cold shit, like, yo, off cold.
Yeah.
For these reasons. But if you peep some of our subtweets and comment sections, etc., they wanted all of us to ether him like Justin did. That's what they really want. Like, if we wanted all the clicks, and if we were really, I bet you, I'm gonna look at this chat in a second, because I know that some of them trying to cop please, and y'all lying. Everybody wanted bars from each one of us on how this What's the Dirt dude was the worst motherfucker ever in history of hip hop commentary. And don't get me wrong, he caught the needed heat, but I think what Cole is getting at is a blood sport adjacent culture of commentary that is probably not what like any of us got into this for, but the bag is there, and there are definitely people within this space that are all for blood sports. Some of them got their name off blood sports.
Well, I'll say,
and won't let it die, and keep it up. Like there's certain YouTube channels, streamers, whatever, where every day it's a Drake, Kendrick thing, and I just don't have that much. I love it, but not to that degree. Like, I can't speak about this shit every day. Like, Leon Thomas just dropped a fire fucking album. I want to talk about that too.
Right.
And there's no smoke there. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I'll say this part. You know, I definitely appreciated, and I think I said this in my video too, I definitely appreciated J. Cole, one, saying that Drake did a lot for him. Excuse me, because we've had so many people act as if Drake hasn't done anything for anybody and it was just taking from everybody. To me, that actually meant something. And two, you know, I understand the impulse to be like, okay, yeah, we did our thing. That was enough. It's over now. Right. Which is why I question Cole coming back with this at all. Because I thought that's what he did on the Dreamville stage. And I thought that's why he deleted 7 minute drill. I thought that's why those things happen. So getting this track, I guess it's for him, and I respect that. I guess maybe it's to ease the tension. I hope it actually does. But looking at the response that's happening publicly, to me, it's brought more questions than any kind of answer. Because to me, it's like, it's 5 months later, we're going back into this. I thought you were already good.
And does he deserve credit for backing up Drake when Drake's already been killed and dragged around the city? Like, it's like, I've got you. Let me give you a piece. I mean, like, right? Because no one came up when Drake was getting just hit and hit and hit and hit. I mean, the most
nobody did.
21 didn't say anything. That was like the way that he stood by, right? Like in general, everyone just let Drake get all the hits. And then now he's coming out and saying, I'm still with you, Drake. I don't know.
That's why I think it's we're really gonna see at some point how Kendrick and Drake both feel about this, and I don't think either of them are on good standing with Cole. Like I really truly don't think Kendrick is. I don't think he has negative feelings, but I don't think they're cool, and I don't think Drake is looking at this like, thank you so much, man. Like you told me to keep my head up. Wow, you're right. Yeah, you're right. I will keep my. I don't think either of them are really feeling that way. And to your point, Justin, Head brought this up on our podcast today, but the point was, you know, you can't control how other people take your actions, right? So if you're Kendrick and you're looking at Cole like, oh, you want to bring this back? Oh, you want to talk about it again? What's that in White Chicks? You want to talk about mothers? You want to bring this back again? I don't think he will, but if Kendrick wanted to throw a shot on an upcoming project, a sub or whatever, I think it's fair game because Cole stepped back.
But where was the shot at Kendrick? Where did Cole throw a shot at Kendrick?
He didn't. I'm saying by bringing up the beef at all after bowing out. That's what Head's point was.
Kendrick loves this shit. Like, because I don't have to do anything. The rap world is crazy. I'm rehearsing for the Super Bowl. And look at all of y'all have to deal with this shit. My crown is intact. Sucks for you. My album is coming out. I'm about to go get this Grammy. I'm about to get the Super Bowl performance. We're going to hit this tour. And y'all going to have to deal with y'all feelings.
And he hasn't said a word.
He ain't said a word.
Doesn't have to. But again, I mean, this goes back to everybody being who they have to. Jay-Z, right? Everybody got a part to play. Back to yours. Kendrick, this is who Kendrick has been. He let the music speak for him. This is how Cole has been. Cole has been very emotive through his music as well, and emotional and conflicted, like his whole career. And Drake has been the guy who's always wanted to be popular, and the need to be popular, and the need to be loved, and the need to be the number one guy. And now that at this moment that he isn't,
he needs to hold his head up.
It's a spot. It's like, which way do we go? I thought he should have gave us more 100 gigs. I thought 100 gigs was the best thing that Drake was doing at this time. I liked combing through those footages and being like, oh shit, that's why I fuck with you. Oh, I love that song. Oh, that's how you did it.
Right.
Did you like the smartest move Drake done? Post this. And
did you like the sneak disses in there? Did you like the sneak disses in there too?
What was the sneak disses in it? I didn't go through. I might
remember that picture that said, remember that time J. Cole lost his phone and they called Jay-Z?
Oh yeah, that was in the account.
That was in the 100 gigs joint. Yeah. Did you like that stuff?
Drake is a funny guy. But no. But look, hold on. When he dropped the 100 gigs, right, is when most of us, I didn't know that plot twist thing existed.
Right.
So
that was dope. That was really dope.
That J. Cole thing was like several weeks, if not months back. So I don't know. It's weird.
That was kind of early though. That was kind of early around the time as people were going through it. That's when we were discovering things. Yeah. I mean, look, I definitely agree with that. I definitely. But that's to me lines up with, and after this, I think we could probably move into the state of hip hop media, because truthfully, the plot twist is a new way to engage your audience and put music out. There's a lot of innovative things that are happening around this. But to me, that is part of maybe why J. Cole decided he wanted to do that track, because there really is regardless of how you feel, whether or not there's subs or sneak disses somewhere in there about Kendrick or anybody else, the loudest things to me in that track were, I'm not afraid to say, Drake, that you did a lot for me. I appreciate you. And also, don't lie on me and say that I'm choosing sides, right? I am not trying to do that. And that was the conversation of this week. And to me, that is the most potent aspect of this track. Whatever's happening around other people, I guess, doesn't matter to him. But what does matter to him is that, at least on the Drake side, I imagine both Drake and Kendrick, because he did the same thing at Dreamville, more so towards Kendrick. Hey, man, I don't want no problems with you guys. Now, whatever that means is whatever it means, but it's important to him for his friends to know how he feels. And I respect that.